I got a real cool name in Merritt, can't remember what it is. Okay, this is a video for Scott from Cold War Motors. You always share what you do. I'll show you what I'm up to, learning from what you show. So we're in Auckland, New Zealand, about an hour north of Auckland. And this is my place. It's about 1 acre. We've got 3 sheep. Ken. This is Ken. He's 20. Sort of a fancy lawnmower. That's the twins. Don't like them. We call this a horse house. My surname's Stables. There's no reason. That doesn't mean anything. This is a kauri. It's a New Zealand timber. Big kauri tree. It's like your big redwoods. It's the second biggest tree behind the redwood, I think. Second oldest or something. Actually, maybe redwoods is in Canada. Anyway, that's out the back. And so in New Zealand, we have Japanese cars. This is a Nissan P11, Toyota, and actually that's an Audi. And this is my youngest son's Accord. We had to get it certified because it's so low. You should see the exhaust on the back of it. It's freaking ridiculous. We just dropped the manual out of this yesterday. So it has a CVT gearbox from stock, and we had to take it in and out 3 times every time the CVTs would go. So we put a manual in it and got thrash coming over the hill here, and the gravel hill, and took the gearbox out. So they're doing that. This is my oldest son's Levin. It's called a Toyota Levin, but everywhere else it's called a Corolla. Levin's a place in New Zealand. We just pulled this quarter out, lots of screws, and popped it out. He's done quite a nice bog job on that, actually. It's got fiberglass underneath it. So this had Toyota paint fade, fucking disaster, and just tidying that up. He's got another nice car, actually. It's a 1979 Chrysler Avenger. It looks like sort of a Hillman Hunter. That's a cool car. Anyway, I'll show you what I'm working on. Well, this is yesterday's thing. I got a bit pissed off and ended up chopping this in half. I was making it in one solid piece. I got a bit tired, as you do. Usually I do it in one bit, but I thought, no, just make it in a couple of bits. I'm going to make that, and then I should be able to fold that. But it's funny, I was trying to do this little corner bit and ended up trimming it. This piece was huge, and it's getting smaller and smaller. I was like, we'll walk away. But yeah, there you are. So, etc., etc. I did that without measuring. I usually measure, but sometimes I don't. And my project. And this is Gloria. It's a 1973 General Motors Statesman, made by Holden. Australian car, assembled in New Zealand. This nose cone was a good mission. So this is off a single headlight model. Excuse the flashing in the back. And we stitched it in sort of here, like this, around the twin headlight, because this car was rotten. It was 14 years outside, sitting in the weather. And I sort of show you the damage and what we've done. But anyway, that's all done. That was just so many patches, just replaced everywhere, and it was all dented, and you can imagine. It was one lady owner, so a few dents in the front. So it was really straight, but rusty as. The engine's going, 308 5 litre. Like the whole car is completely stock and complete, which is a bonus. This is just the patch for this. So I had to replace the roof. I made a mistake on that, actually. I got a roof off a station wagon. I'm just going to turn the light off because that's pissing me off. I got the roof off a station wagon because these are built off a station wagon. And I went to all the trouble of picking it and grinding it away and putting it in. And I was like, wasn't until I put it on, oh, it's a little bit higher there. Completely fucking different. So that was a learning exercise. Not that you're going to do this again. But just dropped the roof on the other day, actually, just for the hell of it. Fits mint. Very exciting feeling to put that roof on. because the roof under the vinyl from here to here was just nothing. It was just completely gone. This side of the car was very, very rusty. And so I replaced the pillar. You could, this here was a hole this size. I could put my whole head in here. I've just cut and shut it. Just like this, just for now. Later on, I'm going to cut it, you know, an inch either side and put a little sleeve in there. Just this guard I bought, actually. It was called HQ Rough. You can see it was all dented in here. I haven't done any bogging yet, so all the lip was replaced. I got some new old stock repair sections for here and the other side. So it's got this shadow line here. This piece I had folded up down in Wellington by a guy from a speed shop sort of thing, or just a panel beaters. And so he's done these two doors, and I'm really happy with the shadow line. Actually, you can see it there. Just finished working on this door. I'm just working down the driver's side at the moment on our time off. It's just got you can get this lower as a repair section, which is awesome. You get the front as a repair section. It's sitting in this bag, so I've got that. First week of our month off, which I'm just absolutely loving. Just rebuilt all in here. Just making lots of patches and corner pieces and bits and pieces. This is the pillar, just cut and shut down here. Fits in mint, actually, because this was just absolutely gone down to about here. Funnily enough, it's not rusty in the normal places, or a little bit, but usually all these are all gone. But it's not rusty from you know, normal water leaking. It's rusting from the roof disappearing, and so it's all dissolved as they do. But I love working on it because I've always owned these cars. My first car was one of these, but this is the Statesman, so this is the long wheelbase model. It's got a big rear ass on it. The first model was called a Brougham, and so I'll be having it, you know, sort of, we call it being a hoon over here, or a munter, or a druff, you know, sort of black shirts and black jeans and studded belts or whatever, you know. It's just sort of us. These are just some cheap mags I bought, just some ugly 17-inch things. What I was actually thinking of doing, I've talked to a guy about it, he's keen to do it, is machine out that backwards, just for the sake of deep dishing it. I actually like them because they're sort of old but a little bit new, and it's just sort of the look that I want, really. Anyway, so I'm just done there, ripping down the side, so that door will be finished today, and then I'm going to do the quarter. I'm actually going to make the quarter out of because I've had a couple of cars I've had access to. I've got the roof for free. Guy just let me have a roof. Then we had a car that we found in the paddock, this one, and so we have free access to that. It was pretty jiggered, but it was quite handy for that rear quarter, for example, because I managed to cut all the patches out of it. So we just took everything off that car. I'll show you Gloria when I found it. That's actually Gloria, and that's where she was. So the coil went in it, well, certainly the coil was gone when I first tried to get the motor going, so she couldn't start it, so she ended up just rolling it down the hill. Threw a couple of plastic things over it, which didn't do fuck all. And I bought it for $500. Yeah, Gloria got rust, alright. And so 6 inches of water on the driver's side. It's quite cool. We literally dug it out of the ground. It was like parked over a creek, poor thing. And it's not too bad underneath. Like, I need to replace all the rockers on one side. I do love this old car. She gets a lot of acid, if you know what I mean. And you talked about shed tours. I'll show you my shed, bro. So it used to be a music shed, and there was just couches all around here and a coffee table. We had a big flat screen TV, and we'd just party out here, you know. and all my tools used to be on this side, but I knew the car would be here, so I just turned it into a workshop. So 2 years I've been doing this now. This month is like a year. I'm getting so much done, and it's good watching the fury because I can just imagine, going on to the trim stage. But I'll show you around my shed. So it's got sort of all the music concerts that I've been to. That's me and a guy called Scribe, is a New Zealand musician. Looks pretty whacked. Good concerts there, all big day out. You just get to see lots of good bands, Here's all my bits for the Holden, all collated. So I did sort of it was all about rust for the first year. I had a 1,000 litre electrolysis tank, which is 2 couches face to face, and I put every part in there and for a couple of days and, rip the rust out of it, and we did molasses and all that, etc. This is the first concert I went to. Fairly recent concert, right. So yeah, it's just sort of home handyman tools. I'm out of mid gas. You wouldn't fucking believe it. Oh man. But it's good in a way because I'm just making patches. Oh, there's my car we got married in. It's a same sort of Holden. It's a HJ Premier 253 V8. Did that up, and we got married. That was our wedding car we drove off in. My first car is in this photo, but it slipped down. It's a sort of a white version of this. Oh, like this, but nowhere near as flash. Mine was a base model white Belmont. Yeah, and that's my boys many years ago. And the missus, it's just mates. It's me and my eldest. The old neighbour out the back, Mike, starting to sell his bike, switches out of it. It's the beer we drink in New Zealand. These are old cans from the 80s. It's funny, they were selling them in the shop, they're all full of beer. Bought them down in Invercargill. Man, it should be a hard day. I've had old beer, it's not very nice. I'll show you what my car looks like finished. This is the same car, not actually mine. This is in the South Island, but that's exactly what it's going to look like. Except probably without the doof sticking out of the bonnet. Oh, that's me painting in the grill for an experiment, but it will just be silver. It is complete. I'll have the black vinyl roof exactly like that, and the louvers are absolutely compulsory. The inner guards are stock black, but I'll be doing them colour like this. Oh, the guy that gave me the roof, that's his Statesman. This is the colour. It's called Chateau Mauve. I kind of want it a bit darker, but in the end I'll probably just do it the same. That's my wedding car again. Mate Chris, I was his best man twice. Statesman. That's my family. There's a couple of hangers on that don't exist anymore. But it's got all the chrome and pretty good nick. This is my side trims I was wondering should I use or not. Bump strips, 50-50 on that. If I do use them, I'll probably tape them back on. Yeah, so we sort of started off doing little circles, and just because it was just hideous, just couldn't look at it. And so I'll be doing a quarter soon. I'm pretty fortunate because most of it's there, you know. There's all the lowered springs and bits and pieces you pick up. These are actually, well, these ones are racing springs out of HQ. They race these. And you can imagine that'd be quite a hard case. Yeah, and there you are. And I'll show you something funny. This is not a setup. Hey, it's the shed I slept in last night, hey? So, yeah, you guys at Cold War Motors, all you guys actually are bloody awesome. And, you know, sort of always had that connection with Canada. Don't know why New Zealand, Canada is a similar sort of place. You know, Canada sort of reminds me a little bit of, you know, how New Zealand used to be in sort of an easier sort of way. And I think we're all going to go a little bit back to that. Just chill out a little bit and don't worry about certain things too much. So there you are. That's my project. It's a 1973 Statesman, and I love working on it. I'm looking forward to driving it. And after this, I'm going to do like a 1930s Chev or a Dodge or something like that. I want to just quietly, I want to recreate an early Holden. And so Holden in Australia were coach builders originally, like really early on in the 20s and stuff. And so they would build Chevs. So I want to do a very, very early Chev with a Holden badge on it. I actually found one, but it was pretty rough. It was just a cow, you know, in the bush in Aussie. But that's what I want to do after this. And this I'll keep forever. But any projects after this are just for shits and giggles. So there you are. Here's a shed tour. That's my bonnet.